Welcome back to the Backstage Live, the online show dedicated completely to the Malaysian arts. Now, buying an engagement ring is a tricky ordeal in itself, but what happens when the ring shop owner, as well as your own fiancé, doesn't decide to let you buy a ring and yet won't tell you why? This is what happens to Henry in our play today, A Little Conviction. Now, this is a play brought to you by the Electric Minds Project, directed by Alex Chua and written by Jody Lancaster. It follows the tale of a man named Henry who, like I said before, decides to buy his girlfriend an engagement ring to propose to her. The only issue, when he goes to the ring shop owner, her manservant, as well as his wife-to-be Harriet, don't let him buy the ring and don't even let him know why. Now, this is something that is intriguing in itself, and what makes it even more interesting is the fact that it's an immersive theatre project, which means that the audience would sit right in that ring shop and experience everything happening right around them. If that isn't something to tickle your interest, why don't you take a look at the interviews we managed to get with the two cast members, as well as the director Alex Chua, and see what they have to say about this incredibly mad tale.
So, A Little Conviction is the story of Henry, and he's trying to buy a ring for the love of his life, Harriet. But when he gets to this shop owned by this crazy woman, her name is Misha, no one seems to want him to pick a ring, or rather they won't let him pick a ring. There's something he's got to do first to be able to choose a ring, but they refuse to tell him what it is. And Henry goes through this crazy evening of trying to figure out what it is that he has to do to qualify to pick a ring.
Basically, I play Henry, and as Henry, he's an entomologist, and he's a rather bumbling fool. He doesn't really quite know what to do with himself, and most of the time, he hesitates when he makes a lot of decisions. He always second guesses himself, but otherwise, he's actually a very genuinely sweet and young and nice guy. He just wants to please his girlfriend all the time.
My character's name is Harriet. She's about to get married and she finds her fiancé a little bit indecisive. So she wants to get him fixed. Just like every woman out there, right?
It's funny. It's actually really, really, really funny. And when I read it the first time, I could not stop laughing. It was tongue-in-cheek. It was very witty and very sharp. And on the surface, it seems like a play that says that all men are useless. But when I dug deeper into it, it really became a story about what is it that men think and what is it that women think, and how it is that men don't really know how women think and women don't really know how men think, and that's what the whole play is about. It's about trying to figure out what the other sex is thinking, how their minds and how their brains work.
It's a very simple premise of just a guy who wants to get engaged, wants to buy a ring, and it was never that simple for him. And I mean, come on, everyone who wants to get engaged or wants to get married at some point in the future would have to choose a ring. And it made me realize of how complicated would the process be if you want to choose a ring.
It's a bit surreal and it's very interesting because it's comedy, but it's not deliberately funny, and somehow just it's a nice mix of tears and laughter.
I'm crazy fucking stupid, and I chose to stage this play in a way that causes maximum pain for me. I've decided to do this play in the style of immersive staging. I've done this once before with another play called Buried Child, but I'm trying it again, having learned quite a few lessons back then under my belt. And how it is that there's no audience seating. There's no, traditionally you go to the theater, there's the stage and there's the audience, and they're separate. But in our show, what we're doing is the audience is going to sit and stand on the stage together with the actors. They could be sitting at a table and the audience might be sitting right next to them. And so as an audience member, you're right up close to the action. It's happening right next to you. There's no distinction. There's no barrier between you and the show.
I think the challenges for it has actually been about getting into the character, because Henry, in actual fact, reason I was cast to play as Henry is because what Alex saw in me is that I was not very much different from Henry. So it kind of terrified me because I was like, as I was reading the script as Henry, it scared me a lot, because a lot of the stuff that happens, or a lot of the stuff that he says, are things that I would actually say as well.
Rehearsal's going great actually. We're going ahead of schedule, and it's really nice to be ahead of schedule most of the time. And I think what's challenging with the rehearsals is to get consistency.
Why should people come watch a show? Well, it's basically the first time where you will actually be able to immerse yourself in theatre, or rather one of those few occasions where you could actually watch someone flub about or probably struggle in choosing an engagement ring for his fiancée. And I think that would in itself, you will not be able to catch this in like Bokong or any of the jewelry shop around. Instead, you actually get to watch it over here, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the whole process and enjoy the whole weekend off, if you actually can, to watch this whole thing.
You have to come watch the show because there's no show like this one. Yeah, you actually get to sit in the set with us, you know. Don't bother us, but sit in the set with us.
It's the actors are fantastic. I mean, they've been putting their blood, sweat, heart and tears into this production, and they are producing some very good work. Some of the best that I've seen working as a director here in KL for the past 5 years. And the script is fantastic. You've never seen anything like it.
And that was A Little Conviction. Now, like I said before, this play is an immersive theatre project, which means you get to sit in the set as well as see all the things happening around you with your own eyes. Just don't touch the actors and get in their way. Now, if this is something that you'd be interested in, look across your screen right now. All the details you need are right there. The dates and where the location is and everything else that you need to know, all there on your screen right now, so take a look. Also, don't forget, if you want to know what else is happening in the art scene, look across your screen. The websites are there. Kaki Seni, We Are Malaysian Made, and Stage KL. And of course, if you want to give us a buzz, the email is across your screen, thebackstagelive@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to follow what else is happening with the Backstage Live and keep updated, you can always check out Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the 3 things that you need to know about the Backstage Live. And do follow us, because we would love to see new faces and we'd love to see our follower counter go up just that little bit. So that calls it to a close to the Backstage Live once again. I am Nick Dorian. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the Backstage Live. And I will see all of you in the next episode. Take care, guys.